Hey guys, we have a transformative week full of planetary transits. We have a lot going on. We have 2 sign changes going on. The sun's going into Virgo, which could help us understand the importance of a healthy routine in our life, plus help us boost our egos through acts of service to others. Mercury is going into Libra, allowing us to think about how we can gain balance in our relationships while harmonizing our communication style and diffusing any drama that we have in our lives. Uranus is going retrograde, which is going to cause us to look at where we've stayed in our comfort zone for too long, understand the importance of staying true to ourselves, and realize better ways to upgrade our lives. And this will be a busy week for Venus, causing us to focus on our love lives and career situations, especially the areas that need to be revamped so we can move forward within our lives. With the vibes on the graph, we have another edgy week. August has definitely been a bitey month in terms of the transits. It's not to say that we haven't had our sweet spots, but it definitely has been edgy overall. And at the beginning of the week, even though we have some harmonious alignments and the sun going to Virgo, we have some mental energy mixed in with emotional sensitivity along with some solitude. So the beginning of the week, we could definitely feel more triggery than normal with some of the alignments that are coming up, especially from the 22nd till about the 23rd. It could definitely feel like things are very intense on a mental level. We may be in our heads and we may just be feeling more jittery than normal, and again, just sensitive to what people are saying, more triggery than typical. By the time we get to the 24th, we have more mental energy intersecting ambitious energy. Also connected with imagination and confusion, romantic energy, social vibes, and by the end of the week, a lot of solitude energy intersecting all of that. And so this is going to be an interesting week. It's mixed baggy. From the 24th all the way up until about the 26th, we have some alignments that are going to be motivating, that are going to get us going. It's going to get us focused on what we need to get focused on with the mental energy. It is definitely going to rev up certain things romantically. And there's definitely a social tone to the air, even though we've got that solitude and the edgy energy. Sometimes these things contradict because there could be 2 different transits going on at the same time, one that's very social and another that's antisocial. So it may be a mixed bag weekend where on one hand you just don't want to be bothered with people, on the other hand you want to get out, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes we just have diametrically opposing emotions going on, so you're feeling 2 different emotions simultaneously. So that could be what's going on through this week. It could be a week that's causing us to feel a bit ambivalent than normal. And so, yeah, it will definitely be an interesting week for sure. Let's look at the next bunch of days and see what we can expect. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. On the 22nd, Mercury's making a trine with Pluto. This alignment is amazing for communication, and it's amazing for communication because it's good for being direct with people without things going wrong, being assertive without things going wrong, being able to get really deep with other people and just things just flowing easily. Our communication goes on topics that normally people may not talk about all the time. Of course, obviously, this is an astrology podcast, so you guys are into talking about deep things and esoteric things and new age stuff, but not everybody is, and this could be a day where people are more receptive to those things. This could be a day where people are more receptive to astrology or new age topics, or even like occult topics and things like that. Or if it's not those types of topics, a lot of the times when you have Mercury-Pluto alignments, sometimes people get into talking about topics like psychology, which most mainstream people they don't have a problem generally talking about. It depends on the situation, but this could be one of those days where you're having those deep conversations about things you normally don't talk about with people. This could also be a day that's really great for research and uncovering things, finding the answers to things, complex things that you're trying to understand. These complexities don't have to be intense or crazy or, damaging in any sort of way. This is the kind of energy where it's easy to unearth things that you're trying to find answers to, and it is in a way where it's comfortable. And even with some of the complex transits that are going on around us, this gives us the ability to use our mind in a powerful way and focus on the things that we need to transform in our lives, and also work on our coping skills and do it with ease. So this energy is going to be lovely, and this comes on a day where mental energy is a big focal point. On that day, the sun enters Virgo. Happy birthday, Virgos! It's Virgo season! As we leave the bold, expressive party vibes of Leo, we're changing the tone in terms of our egos, our confidence, and the way we present ourselves to a more down-the-earth pace. It's time to take a more practical approach. It's time to roll up our sleeves and take care of the situations in our lives that have become unsightly. It's time to focus on ourselves, but also focus on others. The way we focus on ourselves in Virgo season is improving ourselves, self-improvement, rather than self-aggrandizement. So our ego gets a boost for improving things, improving other people's lives, and making our lives better. This is a time where we strive to be the best versions of ourselves through fixing the little things, through making certain tweaks to things within our regimen that are causing any problems, causing disruption, causing imbalances. So this could be a time where we're focused on getting into a better routine. This could be a time where we're more health conscious and we're wanting to clean up our diet from some of the shit we've eaten during the summertime, from the barbecues to the late night boozing and the late night snacking from the boozing. From all the comfort food from Cancer season to the extravagance of Leo season, this could be a time where we're looking to get our shit together. And if that's you, Virgo has you covered, because this is one of the best signs to start something in terms of a routine, in terms of a diet, fitness regimen. Diet doesn't have to necessarily be losing weight. Diet is what we eat all the time. Diet is all about our lifestyle. So this could be about cleaning it up and just introducing better foods and maybe a little bit less grease and alcohol out of your diet. Sometimes this happens, and I laugh as I say this because it's funny how people tend to get ready for the summer and get their summer bods, and there's no knocking for that, but Virgo season just happens to be one of the best seasons to synthesize your diet and get everything down to a science. Even at the Virgo full moon, that's obviously around the springtime, late winter going into early spring, sometimes around March, it all depends. But these are the seasons and Virgo times where it's good to get all that in check. And even if it's not about your diet, this could be about getting everything in order in your home, getting everything in order for work, polishing your appearance as well. Polishing your appearance in the sense with doing something with your hair or doing something with your wardrobe, being more spotless overall in the way you present yourself. Anything hardcore that you need to do right now project-wise where you're able to pay attention to the details, the Virgo season is great for that. On a personal note, I've always used Virgo seasons to get myself back on track anytime I've lost sight of something and I need to reorganize myself. I need to recalibrate myself. It's a Mercury sign. It's a Mercury ruled sign, which is all about calibrating yourself. So this could be a time where you're starting to notice that that's something that you could do with ease more than typical. One of the other great things with this is our minds are just able to absorb information pretty quickly. Mercury right now is in Virgo, and Mercury will hit shadow in a few days. So for the Virgo function, we got to maximize most of the Virgo stuff in a good way. So things might be somewhat off kilter a little bit during this Virgo season. However, we still get to utilize a lot of the best parts of Virgo. But this could be a time where you're just learning the art of practicality. This could be a time where you're dealing with people who are more reliable, or you're noticing that within yourself where you're becoming more reliable. You're becoming more observant, so you're able to see a lot more detail than you normally do. So it's easy to filter out the clutter in your life and things that no longer serve you. Of course, there's always a lower vibration anytime there's a sign going into a planet. And with this, we have a tendency to be a bit nitpicky at times. We have to be aware of overanalyzing. We have to be aware of fixating on things that we can't resolve, because this is a problem-solving sign. And with it being a problem-solving sign, if that sign gets stuck, if you get stuck within that Virgo energy, sometimes it can result in analysis paralysis. You have to be balanced when it comes to your diet. Be aware of going to an extreme or an unhealthy place when it comes to it. Be aware of going to an extreme when it comes down to work as well, because this could be a workhorse sign. Virgos have the capacity to work harder than most, and so when we have this type of energy, we can go and then burn ourselves out. So you just want to be aware of that. You could think you're fine, but then all of a sudden after a while you're burning out and your nerves are shot, because it's a Mercury ruled sign, so we deal with nerves and anxiety. So definitely take care of yourself. Be easy on yourself. There is no such thing as perfect. I was saying this when Mercury went into Virgo. That's the trappings of this energy, and so you just want to make sure perfect is not getting in the way of good enough, as that saying goes, because it can happen within this energy. So do the best you can when this energy hits, but other than that, use this Virgo season to make tweaks to things that need to be more orderly in your life. That same day, the sun's going to make a Sesquiquadrate with Chiron, and speaking of being overly analytical and digging on your own perfections, this alignment can rev that up more than normal. This is an alignment where we have to accept ourselves for who we are and what we bring to the table, rather than a version of ourselves that's false, a version of ourselves that gets approval from others, but yet we're not being our authentic self. So you want to make sure that you're not falling into those trappings where you're not presenting yourself in this false package to get approval from others. And we also have to make sure we don't go to a toxic place when we're not getting the attention we're seeking from others. So sometimes being yourself is easier said than done. Some people are not comfortable within their persona. And so try to find healthy coping mechanisms for yourself so that way you can feel comfortable in your own skin. On the 24th, Uranus is going retrograde. Uranus went into the pre-shadow on May 7th of 2022. And so think about what kind of Uranian themes were popping up in your life at that time. Has this been a point where you've been breaking free from stagnant situations or feeling as though you're having this sudden revelation on how to fix those things, how to break free from those things? Has this felt like a wake-up call in some way? Have you been feeling the need to overhaul your life and make serious revamps to the things that are no longer working for you? Are you feeling as though you're starting to have breakthroughs about what to do about your circumstances and how to upgrade your life? Has this been a point where you can no longer be inauthentic and present a package that's not authentically you? Are you starting to go back to suppress goals that you put on the back burner, maybe to appease other people or to make your family happy or make a spouse happy? Are you starting to see that you're slowly looking at returning to that? Has this been a period where you've been more self-reliant or are slowly feeling comfortable expressing yourself and getting more freedom in your life, feeling more free in your life? Has this been a time of awakening? You know, with the wake-up call thing with Uranus retrograde, sometimes that wake-up call is a spiritual awakening. Has this been a period where you've been experiencing a spiritual awakening? Or waking up in terms of the people you hang out with, waking up in terms of the lifestyle you're leading? Has this been a period where you're looking at changing that and making some radical changes to that? Because Uranus retrograde wakes us up to those things. Uranus retrograde is about revolutionizing our lives and helping us find solutions to complex issues that need to be resolved. It's about having breakthroughs and busting out of ruts. It's about disrupting anything that's been stagnant in your life for some time. But most importantly, it's about living a life that's true to you and authentic to you, and not the life that someone else wants you to lead. So this could be a period where you've been examining that. Since the shadow period, have some of those themes been coming up if you've been aspected by Uranus? Because throughout this retrograde, a lot of these themes will come up depending on what type of topic you have for this retrograde itself. The signs that are going to feel this retrograde the most are going to be the fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, between 12 to 20 degrees of these signs. So if you have any planets in these signs, any fixed placements, this retrograde is going to be felt more by you than most people, especially if you have these on your angles, whether that's your midheaven, your IC, your descendant, or your ascendant. Or again, chart points and planets, you're going to definitely feel this retrograde more than others. Uranus goes direct on January 22nd of 2023 and will be out of its shadow period by May 9th of 2023. So it's a long extended stint. Of course, this happens with the outer planets. The outer planets are slower moving, therefore their retrogrades are slower. And even if you're not feeling this retrograde yourself, you could experience this on a collective level, or observe things on a collective level, or through people that you know. There might be some noticeable changes going on with them. So that's where that might show up for you. So try to use this retrograde to revolutionize the things in your life that need an upgrade. That same day, Mercury's going into its pre-shadow retrograde. So now that we're here at this point, Mercury is about to leave Virgo and Mercury will be slowing down and going into Libra. Mercury will hit about 8 degrees of Libra before it goes into retrograde motion on September 9th. So this retrograde will be filled with Virgoan themes, which has a lot to do with our routine, our mind, perfectionism, being of service of others to a point where it may be unhealthy. This is going to definitely help us examine some of those unhealthy spots of Virgo. And with it going into Libra, that's going to translate into our relationships, the way we communicate in our relationships, fairness in our relationships or lack of fairness in our relationships, and harmony within our relationships. This could expose passive aggressive behavior. This can open our eyes to communication that's been one-sided within our relationships. And it doesn't have to be romantic partners. Libra does deal with romantic partners, but also business partners and and close associates, close friends, family members you're close to as well. So it could open that up. It could also be an exposing energy in terms of opponent, because we deal with that type of topic within Libra and the 7th house. So sometimes it could bring that kind of stuff up as well. So this retrograde will definitely be interesting. I will be speaking more about it as we get to September. But just as a heads up, Mercury's in shadow as of the 24th, goes retrograde on the 9th of September, and will go direct on the 2nd of October. By October 16th, it leaves its post-shadow retrograde. That same day, Venus is making a trine with Chiron. So within this energy, this is great for feeling ready to start something healthy in your love life and potentially your financial track, potentially your career. A lot of the times with Venus-Chiron alignments, it does bring up painful memories and areas where we've either sacrificed too much and lost ourselves as a result of a relationship or something that came at a cost us. And this is the Venus-Chiron contact where you're healing from that and you're starting to feel like you're coming out the other side of it. You're starting to feel like maybe you're ready to start investing in a healthy relationship or looking forward to getting into something healthy. This could also be a period where you're looking for a healthy career track. Career track could be doing your own thing, creating your own business, so that way you're not having a boss over your shoulder, or it could be finding an environment that's not so toxic, not so intense or overly competitive. This could be you going to something that's better for your energy and your energy type. So this could be a time where you're ready to get rid of the things that aren't bringing you value. You're ready to get rid of the things that aren't helping you feel confident in love and money, and you're eliminating the relationships. And sometimes it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could be other types of relationships. It could also be eliminating the toxic relationship you have with yourself, so that way you can feel worthy of accepting good relationships and healthy relationships, and you're doing less self-sabotage to yourself. So this is a very welcome energy for healing the relationship with yourself and healing the relationship that you're ready to receive from others. Speaking of relationships, that next day Mercury is going into Libra. Again, we will have a longer duration in Mercury in Libra since Mercury is going retrograde. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to experience in early Libra is going to come back around during Mercury retrograde. So be aware of certain themes, like I mentioned earlier, with Mercury in Libra. But with an energy like this, we become more willing to compromise. Libra is all about fairness. Libra is all about compromising with other people and seeing other people's point of view, coming from a place where we're not selfish and just overall being considerate. So there will absolutely be a need to harmonize things within our love and social life. There could be an air of agreeableness. There could be an air of making peace with others or just trying to keep the peace. This is one of those energies, if there's been any drama in the air, this could be good at diffusing drama for the meantime. And I say for the meantime because, again, this Mercury is shadow, so there's some shadowy aspects about this. This is not like the Mercury in Libra I got to read 2 years ago when Mercury was not going retrograde in Libra. It was going retrograde in Scorpio at the time. So, I mean, that was a whole different animal. But at the same time, bring about that peaceful energy in our communication. This also brings out our creativity. We become more stimulated by doing artsy things and cultural things within Mercury and Libra. So this could be a time where you're wanting to soak up a gallery or go somewhere where there's tons of creative types around. Go to a cultural event or a festival to stimulate your mind and absorb different aesthetics. Romantically, this could be a time where things get very flirty, things get very romantic. It's not as demonstrative as like a Mercury in Leo, but it is definitely a demonstrative Mercury. So, you know, communication-wise with relationships, people could have a way with words and be extra charming. Again, socially, this brings in a good vibe in terms of communication with others because socially you feel more open. People have a tendency to win other people over. You may have a tendency to win other people over within this energy, especially with having a way with words and having a very easy flow of conversation. So hopefully this is going to be great for de-escalating things because this is a diffuser of drama and it's a great energy for that. Obviously, it has a lower expression where, you know, we have to be aware of people pleasing. We have to be aware of being passive aggressive. We have to be aware of not being able to make up our minds and being very indecisive. We also have to be aware of doing too much for other people and then becoming resentful and taking it out on them and becoming petty. So this energy in itself has its moments. And again, it's a shadowy Mercury in Libra. So we definitely have to be aware of some of the themes that are going to pop up over this next few weeks because a lot of the stuff that we're going to be experiencing will come up within that retrograde. So do the best you can when this energy hits. From the 26th to the 28th, we've got some harder alignments. On the 26th, Venus is making a square with Uranus and the Sun is making a square with Mars. So this energy in itself can turn into reckless behavior when it comes down to our relationships and when it comes down to other things that we probably shouldn't be doing. When it comes down to our relationships, if we felt restrictive in some sort of way, this is going to be one of those things where you're trying to bust free. So if you've been in a restrictive relationship, this could be a time where you're claiming your independence. This could be a time where you're looking to liberate yourself. And again, those things are not horrible at all. However, it's the way we go about them that we have to be aware of. As I always say, when I see some of these types of alignments, make sure you have a good exit strategy. Otherwise, it can be problematic and it could blow up in your face within this energy. Try not to make any drastic changes, even if you may have the urge to do it. I know sometimes most people don't have the luxury to do that, but in this energy, it's too volatile and it's the type of reckless change, an impetuous change that may not work in your favor, especially when it comes down to relationships, especially when it comes down to finances. Don't do anything reckless when it comes down to that, or make impulsive decisions when it comes down to job stuff. Also within this energy, this is the energy that if you're looking to make some revamps to your wardrobe, this is not the energy to do that, because you can do something impulsively and end up with a bad haircut. You can end up with the wrong clothes. You can end up just looking in a way that you didn't expect. Unexpected things happen. This could be anything from dyeing your hair a certain color and it doesn't come out quite correct. And it could be striking. It could be striking in a way that you don't want. So you definitely want to be aware of that. And this is a very dramatic energy. On top of that, the Sun's going to be squaring Mars, which also has a lot of drama about it. This can definitely bring out our egotistical, cocky, and pushy side. This can bring out our explosive side. This can bring out our side that needs control and feels frustrated in love life situations. There's a lot of resentment when it comes down to love life situations or situations with career. There can be a competitive streak to this. There can be a very argumentative streak to this. So we definitely want to be aware of what we're doing, because this could result in actual fights, actual physical fights and fist fights. If this energy is channeled correctly, it doesn't necessarily result in that. It's great for working out and cleaning your house and doing things that you need stamina for, because this gives you a lot of stamina, but sometimes the push you get is in the wrong direction. And with that Uranus energy, that's definitely not a good move. On top of that, 2 days later on the 28th, Venus is making an opposition with Saturn. So again, make sure you have a proper plan if you're doing anything, because again, very impulsive energy. And with Venus opposing Saturn, this brings up a lot of emotional situations, rightfully so, and uncomfortable emotional situations in relationships where we don't feel fulfilled, where there's no emotion there, where the relationship is superficial, it's numb, there's no love there. There could be feelings of loneliness. There could be feelings of finally taking off the rose-colored glasses with someone and realizing what you have in the relationship is nothing but surface level. And so with the impulsive energy, it can result in breaking free fast. And again, you got to do what you got to do. Just make sure you have a proper exit strategy. This can also come up with jobs and money as well, where, the reality comes in. There's a sobering moment about your career and your job. And so you're needing to make as much changes as you possibly can. But this will definitely have you questioning the longevity of a relationship and a career, and if it's going to be stable enough for you to want to stay in. So do the best you can when these energies hit. Just make sure that you're doing everything in a way that's not going to backfire on you. So that way you can take some of the sting out of a situation that's already stressful and possibly painful. Anyway, I hope you all have the best week ever. Later, guys.